like doing the most is wave sailing, especially in big waves. I have the most fun doing that. Jaws is, even on days when it's smaller, there's still a lot of an adrenaline rush riding this wave. This is probably the biggest rideable wave in the world for surfing as well as for windsurfing. It can be very intimidating, especially if you're driving up there in the boat. You're about a mile away and all you see is the back of these giant waves and spray going about 60 feet in the air, and sometimes you can just hear that wave breaking. You're sitting there in the boat and just big lips come over, boom, you hear it and you're like, oh my God, you don't even have to be looking at it and you know what had happened. It's such a heavy wave that if you do make a mistake there, you could die there.
I've seen Alex out there at Jaws, big waves, big owl. He's a legend. It's a legendary place, and I think he really enjoys it out there. It kind of suits his style. He just takes it easy and enjoys the power. Alex is, the guy who's been here riding these waves as long as anybody else, so he knows how to get the most out of the waves out here as well.
I still have a lot of fun doing the big stalled forward loops. That's what I like doing the most. Try and get real high, and then you're up there so high, you're thinking to yourself, well, should I flip this or not? You know, you're kind of up so high, you're thinking it's a little risky, but there's something to be said about still flipping that thing around when you're up there. You can still get quite a big kick out of doing that.
I like to free ride, being out there every time it's good and trying to go off as much as I can and push my limits and push the sport's limits. The sails that I use for wave sailing is a really powerful sail, to the point where the sail allows you to have maximum power, but again, with a lot of handling. A lot of people say they're afraid of a powerful sail, but here we're talking about Bruce Peterson that has designed powerful sail for a long time in race sails, and we've developed a wave sail that has the power and the smoothness of a race sail. What I basically did, and before I started sailing, I was a total skier, full-time skier, extreme skiing, and I snowboard. So the basic rules in those sports is being right over your weight and riding the snow and the gravity, and if you're leaning too far back or too far forward, you bite it. The smoothest, the fastest is being over your equipment. So that's the style I'm trying to bring in windsurfing.
Pascal's a new guy to our team. We're glad to have him on the team. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of new ideas, and you can see it in his sailing. The guy's out there like 6-8 hours a day, and he's just really impressive. He's got all the moves in the air. He used to do a lot of snowboarding. He's adopting a lot of the stuff he used to do on his snowboard to his windsurfing. He's in the air, and he's taking one hand off the boom. He's reaching down and grabbing the rail, and he's doing like those new Jesus Christ airs. And sort of guy who does like double forwards in the gorge, and so he's very comfortable in the air. And then this winter over here in Maui, he's really come a long way in picking up the wave riding. It's impressive to see Pascal. He's developing into a force to be reckoned with, that's for sure.
I would like to just free ride as much as I can and improve the sports as much as I can, and Sailworks definitely opened the doors for me there. That's what I'm trying to get at with Bruce. It's where I'm riding knees bent on my board, and I can carve, I can jump without the rig holding me back.
Speed sailing is a whole lot of fun for us. At Sailworks we have a lot of tube battens in our sails. They're designed very much like a Bruce Peterson sort of sail, which is legendary for being so stable. And in that way, we enjoy going fast, really overpowered, and it's just one of the extra benefits of the great design of the sail. But we've been taking slalom sailing to the extreme, basically sailing very overpowered on our 5.9s, our 5.6s out there when we should have been on 5.0s. They're just really stable, and it's actually quite easy to do that, so it's probably why we enjoy doing it so much. It would be another story if you were going that fast, that overpowered with a sail that was more unstable.
July it's a little bit different. It's a little bit, maybe a little bit windier. We're maybe have a slightly bigger sails on, and it's more of a speed kind of sailing. It's almost like being in a speed trail. It's a little bit choppier out there than the regular speed course, but you get to a point where it's almost like you're on a hovercraft. You try to lean forward a little bit, unsheet in the big puffs, lean forward, try and keep the front of the board down because you're going so fast, and when these puffs hit, it has a tendency to get under your board and try and lift you out of the water and do a little tail walking. We did that quite often over there, but the way to alleviate that problem is you kind of unsheet the puffs, lean a little bit forward on your board, sheet in again and try and maintain that speed, and even try and pick it up a little bit faster as we were just flying back and forth. That was a lot of fun. We had a great time over there.
Enjoy the most is definitely the wave riding. Jumping, I guess, there's somewhat a little bit more of a risk factor involved, and you get up in the air, and if the wind's offshore, if the wind's gusty, you're really at the mercy of what the wind's doing. But wave riding, you have somewhat more control. To have a good day wave sailing, a fun day, you might often take a slightly smaller sail than you would for a competition, for example. So I really like to turn as many times as I can on the wave, tight and right in the critical section, and just kind of juice the wave and milk it for all it's worth. That's what I do for fun.
Bruce Wiley here, he likes to do real nice snappy turns on his wave riding performance. He's really into his thruster right now. He does some really nice turns. That's what I like watching the most out of Bruce, is watching him do some nice bottom turns and off the tops and get really vertical compared to most of the sailors nowadays who are still on single fins and twin fins. I believe the thrusters give a little bit more easier time of doing real tight bottom turns and getting real vertical on them. She's real good at racing in the World Cup. That's what she does most of the time, between that and riding her horses. She is one of the top women sailors now in the world. She has been world champion, and the last event in Gran Canaria, she was first there, so she started off this year doing real well also.
We have Jutta, who is a past world champion in the overall. Last year she was way up there in the slalom, finished like second, and this year she started out strong. She just won the Canary Islands racing. So she's always able to fall back on her racing abilities and talents. Although one of the things you'll notice about Jutta as well is in the wave sailing. Out here there are specialized girls who live here and do quite well. Utah is always able to compete with them, and then in Europe she often beats a lot of them. Her style at jumping is just fantastic. She pulls off some of the most amazing tabletop jumps that I'm often jealous of. She gets really tweaked on her tabletops and does really nice ones of those.
Came up to me and she said, catch you later, baby, I've got a split. I've got a habit, I just can't quit. Catch you later, baby, I got a split. I've got a habit, I just can't quit.
Speed jumping is something that I really enjoy doing. You just get the wind under the nose of the board, maybe you rake your sail over a bit more so it starts to lift up as well as forward. And you can just like feel the lift in the sail, and that's really what it's all about. It's just lifting and flying and really feeling the foil pulling you up into the air. And it's a real buzz. And coming in and jumping over the backs of the swells, it's just an extension that happens with racing equipment because you're going so fast. You're going a lot faster than the wave, so you can approach the back of the wave, shoot over it, and often what happens then is you get the wind that's shooting up the face of the wave, or when the wave crashes over, it's displacing all this air, and this air comes up. And you go flying over that, and you get like this bubble that just elevates you, and you're just like, whoa! It's a total get. It's totally fun.
Always got a hand upon her African hips, so give me money for adventures, honey. Not this time. I've got a habit, and it's all mine. Biting my nails, just biting my nails, just biting my nails, just biting my nails. A fanfare play, feeling great, put a shine on your shoes. Does it have to end? I guess to honor it's you. I'll take you back, not Dixie's hit for a 4. Honey, so I can scratch your back.
I think in the future we're going to see more radical wave ride with some style and soul. I want to be always knees bent right over my board and moving along just like if I was on a snowboard or skis. Instead of having always that leaning back feeling, I want to always try to stay forward with the flow of the wind, where you're not holding on to something, you're just flying up in the air, forgetting, and then just styling as much as you can.
Our buddy Pascal, he's fun to watch because Pascal's on a mission to try and hurt himself all the time. He just goes for it all day long. He can be in the water for 8 hours in one day, and you're just like baffled at how much stamina Pascal has. And you don't really want him riding your board though. Pascal, he's real tough on equipment.
Becomes to a point where you learn how to crash a little bit, so it pushes you into the next maneuvers, but it involves serious crash. It's part of it. That's when I really enjoy it. It just fires you up for the next jump, that you see that you can handle it. Your body can handle it pretty good.
Sailing on the ocean involves a lot of sort of spits and spats and pacing yourself and recognizing where you are in the swell and the environment, the chop around you. You can't always go on the hammock. I mean, you've got to really pace yourself and recognize where you are, and when you're on a good section to go fast, and when you're on a section where you're going to wipe out. And then you'll get onto a section where you're on a swell, things are flattened out for you for a little bit there. I mean, you're looking quite a ways ahead of you. And if you can pick the swells correctly and you get yourself into a bit of a zone there, that's actually when you can go the fastest than you can on flat water, because you're going downhill. You're going down the swell, you've got a flat section there, you've lined up the chops correctly, and that's often probably when we hit our peak speed. You shoot the thing in there and you just get all the power that you can. You've got the swell rolling you forward, you've got the wind, and you accelerate the wind flow over your sail, and man, you can really hit some high speeds at that time.
With a new blend, so telephone a friend. Yo, T-Boy's got this new song, it's dope, man. Compact disc to the prime is optimist. Fans of friends, I'm universal and cosmic. Concrete jungles abound. Stand by the speaker, you're smothered and covered up in the sound. You stand strong as you pump your fist. I'm talking all that jazz. Now what's my definition? My definition, my definition. My definition is this, my definition, my definition, my definition, my definition is this, my definition, my definition is this, my definition. Rhymes is often said to do damage. Skin so strong, even Superman needs a hand. So bob your head, dread, as I kick the funk flow. This rhyme is subliminal, yet you don't think so. I walk with a gold cane, a gold brain, and no gold chain. Behind the truth lies, there lies a parapet. In the mix is where dream warriors go to find a free will, but I know so. There is no definition. My definition, my definition, my definition is this, my definition.